All right, next we are looking at the guided practice for 4.7 multiplying, or excuse me, dividing fractions. We are on page 320. So we need to divide and write our answer in simplest form and then check by multiplying. So number one, we have 1/4 divided by 1/2. So remember, to divide by a fraction, all we do is multiply by the reciprocal. So the 1/4 is the amount that we have, the amount that we're starting with. So we have 1/4. We're going to change the divide to times. And if I change divide to times, I have to change the 1/2 into 2/1 because 1/2 means 1 divided by 2. So we'll change that to its reciprocal, 2 divided by 1. And then I want to check and see if I can cross cancel. 4 and 2 are both divisible by 2, so I can cross cancel. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Numerator times numerator gives us 1. Denominator times denominator gives us 2. Okay, so then number 2, we have 5/6 divided by 2/3. So 5/6. I'm going to change the divide to times. And then oh, and I didn't check. Let's go back and check this one. I'm sorry. So to check by multiplying, so the same way that we did in elementary school, we taught you to check by multiplying. So when you had a problem like this, 10 divided by 2, you knew the answer was 5. To check that, you did 5 times 2 to see if it equals 10. 5 times 2 equals 10. So that's your check step. The same, we're doing the same thing here. Okay, so our answer was 1/2. So we had 1/4 divided by half equals 1/2. So the same way we had when we had 10 divided by 2, we checked it by doing 5 times 2 to see if it equals 10. We're going to do the exact same here. So we said our answer was 1/2. So 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/4. Okay, here's our check step. 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/4. Okay, so that gave us our original answer. So that's how you can check by multiplying. Okay, let's do number 2. 5/6 divided by 2/3. We're going to rewrite that as 5/6 times 3/2. We want to check and see if we can cross cancel. 6 and 3 are both divisible by 3. Okay, so we get 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. We cannot simplify 5 and 2. So now we multiply. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4. So our answer is 5/4, okay, or 1 and 1/4 when we write it as a mixed number. Okay, but to check it with our multiplication, we'll leave it as the mixed or the improper fraction. So 5/4 times 2/3 should equal 5/6. So let's check and see if we have the correct answer. So here's our check step. I always like to write a check mark so I know that's where my check step is. This is not part of the original problem. That's just my check step. So 5/4 times 2/3 equals. And then I again check and see if I can cross cancel. And I can. 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. So I get 1 and 2. Numerator times numerator is 5. Denominator times denominator is 6. 5/6. That is what I started with. Okay. And check. If I did it, so that's the end of my check step. If I didn't simplify here by cross canceling, I would have just ended up with 10/12, and then I would have simplified that to 5/6. And that would also be correct. Okay, let's look at number 3. We have 1/8 divided by 3/1. We're going to change that to 1/8 times 1/3. Okay, so we multiplied by the reciprocal. Numerator times numerator is 1. Denominator times denominator is 24. So our answer is 1/24. And then I want to check by multiplying. Okay, and when you do your homework tonight for numbers 1 through 6, you also need to check by multiplying. Okay, and they give you examples 1 and 3 are similar to these problems. So examples 1 and 3 in the problems that we did in our notes are similar to these. So if you need to look back at your notes, you can look at those examples. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our check step. So 1/24 times 1/24 times 3 should give us our original answer, or original starting amount 1/8. So let's check. 1/24 times 3, which I'm going to write as 3 over 1. Okay, equals. And then I want to see if I can cross cancel, and I can. 3 and 24 are both divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So then I can multiply. Numerator times numerator is 1. Denominator times denominator is 8. So we get 1/8, which is what we started with. So that does check out. Number 4, a little bit of a harder problem. We need to write a story problem and solve. So let's take a look at this one. Write a story context for 2/3 divided by 5/6. Use a model to solve. So I'm going to just draw a rectangle, and see, write a context for 2/3 divided by 5/6. So I know I'm going to need to divide something up into sixths. Okay. So to get 6, I'm going to do 3 on this side and 3 on this side. So first I divide it in half. Okay, and then each half needs to have 3 pieces. So now you should have sixths. So draw a diagram with 6 pieces, a rectangle divided into sixths. Okay, all right, so this is what we're starting with. So 2/3. So that's the amount that we're given. So we need to go ahead and shade that in. So if I think of thirds, oops, sorry, I shouldn't use vertical lines. Do I have one colored pencil? I guess it's going to be orange. Okay, so 2/3. I can kind of think of this as a third. Think of this as a third. Okay, that I do have, and that's the third that I don't have. Okay, so I have 2/3 of something. Okay, so I divided that into 6 because I know those are the pieces that I'm going to have, but the amount that we're starting with is 2/3. So we have 2/3 of something. So we have these orange ones. Okay, so I'm just going to shade those in. 2/3. Okay, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, but we don't have that one. That one's the missing portion, but I still drew it so that we can see what the whole amount is that we have. So Mariah, let's say she drank 2/3 of a cup of orange juice. So this is how much she had. Oh, perfect color for my crayon there. So Mariah drank 2/3 of a cup of orange juice. Okay. Divided by 5/6. So let's say that a serving size is 5/6 of a cup. What part of a serving did she drink? So she didn't quite drink a whole serving because a serving would be 5/6. So this she would have needed to drink one more sixth to hit the 5/6. So a serving size is 5/6 of a cup. What portion or what part of a serving did she drink? And we can see from our visual model, she drank almost the whole thing, right? So this is 2/3. This is how much she did drink, 2/3 of a cup, 2/3. And then a serving size is 5/6 of a cup. Okay, so what portion did she drink? So this is, she drank almost, oops, sorry, 5/6 goes one more over. 5/6 right here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6. Here's our 5/6. And this is what she drank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, which simplifies to 2/3. Okay, so then let's see. We need to divide 2/3 divided by 5/6. So this will be a complex fraction, which you'll learn a little bit more about in 7th grade. So she drank 2/3 out of the 5/6. We are not going to write fractions this way in 6th grade, but when you see this in 7th grade, don't get scared by this. This is just this problem written as a complex fraction. So 2/3 divided by, which now you know is just another way of expressing a fraction, 5/6. Okay, and then you know you would multiply by the reciprocal. So you would do 2/3. I'm kind of out of space here, so I'll work here. 2/3. Instead of divided by 5/6, we'll do times. Okay, the reciprocal is 6/5. Okay, then I look and see if my 3 and 6 can cross cancel. Yes, they're both divisible by 3. 2 and 5 do not cross cancel. So then we can multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. So she drank 4/5 of a serving. So Mariah drank 4/5 of a serving. And I'm going to write that over here. Mariah drank 4/5 of a serving. That's a complex problem. Okay, but basically she had a little bit less than 1 serving. So Mariah drank 4/5 of a serving of orange juice. The full serving size was 5/6 of a cup. Okay, she drank 2/3 of a cup. All right, next, number 5. This one's more straightforward. A neighborhood garden that is 2/3 of an acre is to be divided into 4 equal size sections. So you and your neighbors have 2/3 of an acre of a garden, and you're all 4 of you are going to share it. Okay, so think of your house, the house next door, the house across the street, and the house next door to that. So the 4 of you are going to share a 2/3 of an acre lot, and you're dividing that equally among you. How much will you each get? So 2/3 is how much you have. That's what you're starting with. And then that gets divided up among 4 people. So we'll write our family. So we'll write that as 4/1. And then we need to divide by a fraction, we multiply by its reciprocal. So the new problem, that's going to change to 2/3 times. So instead of divide, we multiply by the reciprocal, 1/4. And then we check to see if we can cross cancel, which we can. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Numerator times numerator is 1. Denominator times denominator is 6. So each family or each house would get 1/6 of an acre for their garden. And then letter E, how was the process used to divide fractions similar to the process used to multiply fractions? So when we divide by fractions, we're multiplying by the reciprocal of the divisor. So we're still using multiplication of fractions in order to divide. Okay, we're just doing multiply by the reciprocal so that we are in fact dividing. So to divide fractions, multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor.